Info Factory Track for CSI Customer Order Picking. Factory Track has several customer order picking parameters to control the validation, displayed fields and processing options that are permitted as part of the customer order picking process. These are defined on the transaction set maintenance form for the customer order picking transaction. Please note that it is required that the same stage location is defined for the customer order picking parameters as for the customer order shipping parameters. In this example, the location of staging will be used. As a reminder, the items must be marked as reservable to be processed by this customer order picking transaction. To start the customer order picking process, from the Factory Track Warehouse Mobility main menu, click on the Ship It icon. This then navigates to the Outbound Transactions menu, where you click on the Customer Order Picking icon. The customer order picking process begins with the selection of the item to be picked. You can enter, scan, or select the warehouse ID where the items are located. This can also be defaulted to the user's warehouse based on configuration setting on the transaction set maintenance form. You can then enter, scan, or select the customer order ID which you are fulfilling. You can then enter, scan, or select the stage location where you'll be placing your picked items to prepare for shipping. Note that this can be defaulted based on the configurations on the transaction set maintenance form. You can then enter or scan the line ID associated with the items you want to pick. You can enter the document number which will be used to tie the transactions together. Click on Next to continue. Note that if a line ID is not provided, the application will display a detailed list specifying the lines and items and their current fulfillment status for any lines that are not yet fully filled. Selection of one of the listed items is required before continuing with the process. To perform the customer order picking process for non-lot, non-serial items, Factory Track displays the customer order picking process screen. Factory Track displays the following based on the entry selected from the previous screens: the customer order ID, the line ID, the item and description, the required quantity and unit of measure as defined on the customer order, the stage location ID, the available quantity and already reserved quantity for this order at the specified location. You can then enter, scan, or select the location ID from which the item is being picked. Factory Track will default this field based on the settings defined in the transaction set maintenance form. In this example, the rank was specified. We then enter the quantity of items being picked from the specified location. If the parameter settings on the transaction set maintenance form for allow overpick is disabled, Factory Track displays an error if the quantity entered exceeds the required amount. We can then enter or select the unit of measure. Factory Track will default the unit of measure as specified on the customer order line. However, the user can use an alternate unit of measure if required. Click on Process to continue. Factory Track will continue to prompt the user to continue the customer order picking process. Selecting a different menu item or clicking back will end the continued processing. To process customer order picking of lot tracked items for customer orders, a similar process with additional lot specific field is used. We enter, scan, or select the location ID. We then enter, scan, or select the lot associated with the item being picked. Factory Track will default this if the pre-fill lot option is selected on the transaction set maintenance form. We enter the quantity of items being picked. We then enter or select the unit of measure. Factory Track will default the unit of measure as specified on the customer order. We then click on Process to continue. To process customer order picking of serial tracked items for customer orders, a similar process with additional serial specific fields is used. We enter, scan, or select the location ID from which the item is being picked. We enter the quantity of items to be picked from the specified location. We then enter or select the unit of measure. Factory Track will default the unit of measure as specified on the customer order. Factory Track then provides an additional form to support the identification of the required serial numbers. The total quantity is taken from the quantity to be picked from the previous screen. The scan quantity indicates the number of serial numbers captured in the processing step so far. We then enter, scan, or select the serial numbers for the quantity of items to be picked. Once the scan quantity equals the total quantity, the processing option is enabled. Click on the Process button to process the customer order picking, or we can show the list or clear the list if we wish to start again.